Clawbot is the best AI agent that I've ever built, and on this video I'm going to show you how you can install it and run it for $0 because everyone's out there rushing to buy $600 Mac minis just to run Clawbot 24/7. You don't need to do that because I'm going to show you how you can host this entire agent on the AWS free tier. It lives in the cloud, it never sleeps, and you can talk to it through Telegram or WhatsApp. So grab a cup of coffee because this is going to be one of the most important videos you're going to watch this year. Most people will skip the cost breakdown and regret it later, but here's exactly what you'll pay. Now, first off, Clawbot is actually free. It's free and open source. So the platform itself, installing it, the maintenance, the upkeep, config, none of that's going to cost you anything. And the reason it's free is because I'm going to show you how you can install it on AWS's free tier. And if you're not sure with what AWS is, it's basically Amazon Web Services and it's their cloud platform. So you can actually host apps, services, agent builders, you can do anything you want on here. And I believe that AWS powers something like 40% of the entire internet. So it's a big deal. Now, as a quick FYI, there is one cost, and that's the language model, because Clawbot doesn't actually integrate with any traditional language models like ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini. So you are going to need an API key, which means that you're going to need to buy some credits. But honestly, you can start off with just $5. There is another option, which is Google Gemini's API. And if you sign up today, they are going to give you $300 in free credits that you can spend over 90 days. The catch is that you will need to enter some credit card information. So for this installation, I'm going to use Claude AI because I've already got some credits, some billing set up inside of here. I already use it for other projects and automations. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. You can use any language model that you see fit. Okay, so now that you've decided on which language model to use, the next step is to set up your AWS server in 3 minutes or less. And honestly, you don't need to be a cloud engineer. This is point, click, and launch. So head over to AWS, sign up for their free tier, and once you're logged in, you're going to see something like this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Amazon doesn't have the best UI. It doesn't matter which platform you're on, unless it's something like Amazon, which is, Amazon.com, their retail, which is, consumer facing, customer facing. The rest of their kind of platforms design isn't that great. So just bear with me, take it step by step. It's really not that hard. And most importantly, take your time. So you can see that I've already visited EC2. If you don't have that, just do a search for EC2 on the search toolbar here, and it's going to take you to this page. And basically what we're going to do inside of AWS is we're going to launch a virtual machine. So think of it like your desktop, except it's in the cloud. It's not really physical, right? It's not like a desktop or a Mac or a laptop. It's like a virtual version of that. So essentially all we're running is an operating system using RAM, using hard drive storage, but it's on a server somewhere. And that server, that data center belongs to Amazon. Once you're inside EC2, click on launch instance, and we're going to set this up. The first thing we need to do is we need to give it name and tags. So I'm going to call mine Ava_Clawbot. Now you can call it whatever you want. I'm just going to call my personal assistant Ava. And then we need to select the application OS image. So OS is operating system. Now the one that I've gone for is Ubuntu here. Select that one. And the reason for that is it's eligible for the free tier. Because remember, we don't want to spend anything inside of AWS cloud storage. And then for the instance type, you want to look for this one. So click on the drop down and it's called flex.large. So C7i-flex.large. The reason for that is just compatibility, and it's still free tier eligible. So it gives us enough, memory, RAM, CPU processing power to make sure that Clawbot can run, but more importantly, it can run 24/7 without me, intervening. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to maintain it. It's just there in the background running. And the last thing you need to do is you need a key pair. So just create a new key pair. Click on this button here, and then on the pop-up, just give it a name. So I'm going to call it Ava_Clawbot. Leave everything as default. You don't need to worry about that. Create key pair, and that's going to download a file on your desktop. Everything else is left to default. The main thing is just make sure this is checked. Allow SSH traffic from if it's not checked. It should be by default, but if for whatever reason it's unchecked, you know what to do. And then everything else you can ignore. You don't need to worry about it. Honestly, it doesn't matter for this particular installation. And once you're happy, just click on launch instance. It's now going to launch the virtual machine, install Ubuntu, and start running that. And if you've done everything correctly, you're going to see this giant green bar with a successfully initiated launch. And this is your virtual machine's ID. So this is the moment where most tutorials get complicated, but Clawbot doesn't. So if you want to connect to your virtual machine, you just click this link here, and it's going to open up this instances window. So this is everything about the Ava_Clawbot virtual machine that I've created and installed. Click on connect here, leave everything as default, and then click on the orange connect button at the bottom here. It's going to open up a new window, and this time you're going to see a command line. So if you get to this point, it's so far so good. You've done everything that I've asked you to do. Now the reason we're using SSH as the protocol is because it removes the need for third-party tools. And the guys at Clawbot have thought about everything, and they've made it as easy as possible. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. So there's a few packages that we need to install before we can run Clawbot. And for that, I've created a Google Docs. So if you want the link to this Google Docs, it's in the video description. And basically, we've got some installation commands. So the first step is we need to prepare the server, right? We need to update the Ubuntu instance. So we've got a couple of commands commands for that. What you want to do is grab the first one, head back into the terminal, paste it, and hit enter. And it's going to start installing the packages. So once you see everything is done, then we can install the second package. So head back over to the Google Docs. This time, grab the second command, head back over into terminal, paste it, hit enter, and now it's going to install everything else. If you see a request like do you want to continue, just hit Y and enter, and it's going to go ahead and install all the packages. Once it's done, you'll see that the progress bar hits 100%. Once the Ubuntu instances are done, we can move on to the second step. So inside of the Google Docs, we're going to need to install Node.js, and this is a requirement for Clawbot because it needs that environment. So grab the first line here and paste it inside of terminal. Once Node.js is installed, we can move on to the third and final part of this installation, which is installing Clawbot. So this is the installation command. You can also find it on the official Clawbot website at the bottom here. You just copy this, hit install, and then it's going to start installing Clawbot. And this is where we can set up all the applications, the integrations. We can, integrate it with API keys, and I'll show you exactly how to do that step by step. And if you've done it correctly, you'll see all this. So it says Node.js is installed, Git already installed, it's configured all the dependencies and libraries, everything that it needs, all the prerequisites before it can install Clawbot is already there. If you see that, that's great. That means you've done everything I've asked you to do so far. And now, as you can see, it's installing Clawbot from their servers. So it's pulling it from Clawbot servers into my virtual machine. None of this is running on my local Mac, by the way. It's all on the cloud. And once everything is successful, you should see a screen that looks something like this, which is the Clawbot onboarding. Now, there's more information on the website, so if you want to read all that, go ahead. And there is a disclaimer, which is, I understand this is powerful and inherently risky, which is why I'm here. I love risk. If you want to continue, hell yeah. Click on yes, hit enter, and then the onboarding mode, you've got a couple. You've got manual. So if you are more technical, if you're an advanced user of Ubuntu, of terminal kind of commands, then go ahead and go for that. But I'm going to show you the quick start. And this is where you're going to need the model provider for the languages. So you've got all of the kind of biggest ones here. You've got OpenAI, Anthropic, Qwen, there's Google as well. But the one I'm going to use is Claude.ai because I already paid for it. I've already got credits inside of my account because I use it for other applications, other automations, and both for myself and my clients. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. But again, you can use any platform that you want. By all means, test different language models and see if you're getting better results. So head over to platform.claude.com if this is the route that you want to go through, and you want to click on API keys at the bottom here. Click on create key at the top right, and then you need to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Clawbot because that's where I'm using it. And then I'm just going to select the default workspace. You can add workspaces. I don't know what difference it makes, but I've skipped that step. And then this is the key that you save. Now, obviously, I'm going to delete this and add another one, but you kind of get the point. Copy the key because you're not going to see it again. And once you're happy, just click close. So heading back into terminal, I'm going to select Anthropic because they are the guys behind Claude. Hit enter. And then there's a few ways you can authenticate. There's the token and there's the API key. In my opinion, the API key is the easiest because all you need to do is just copy and paste an alphanumeric code. So I'm going to select the API key, hit paste, and then it's going to give you the default model. So the one I'm going to go for is going to be 4.5 Sonnet because I found that gives you a great experience, a great output, and it's also very affordable. I use it a lot for my NA10 automations and other AI projects. Now here's where it gets really exciting because you've got to select a channel, right? So if you want to talk to this AI agent, this personal assistant, then we need some method, some system or platform to integrate into Clawbot. And for this, they've covered all the major ones. So you've got Telegram, WhatsApp, you've got Discord, Google Chat, which I don't know if it still exists, but yeah, it's there. Slack, which I use a lot. But for this example, I'm going to show you how to set this up with Telegram. So head over to web.telegram.org and search for the bot father. Now make sure it's the official one with this verified tick here because there's a few scams out there. If you connect to the wrong one, you're going to have, external access, hackers, who knows, might have access to this AI agent that you're going to build. So make sure it's this one here. This is the official one. And bot father is basically Telegram's way of creating basically bots. And these bots can do whatever you want them to do. But for this example, I'm going to need basically like a PA, like a VA, and I need the API key. So click on start and it's going to give you a bunch of commands. So the one we want to select is new bot and we're going to need to give it a name. So let's call it Ava Clawbot. I think this is the syntax. I might be wrong. Let's see if it accepts it. Okay, so that's fine, but it needs the kind of suffix on the end with bot. So I'm going to change this to Ava underscore Clawbot underscore bot. Let's see if it accepts this. Should be okay. Yeah, done. Congratulations. Now this is the API key. Obviously, I'm gonna reset this after this video. So you copy this and then you head back into your instance. So I'm gonna select Telegram and then you just paste in the API key. And then once it's done, you can configure skills. So I'm just gonna click on yes because that's recommended. And I want to do this as fast as possible. Show homebrew install command. Yes, we're gonna do that. And then the preferred node manager for skills installs. And I'm just gonna leave it at the default npm, which is fine. And then you can install a bunch of skill dependencies. I believe you need to select at least one. So just select one of them. It doesn't really matter. In a future video, I'm gonna cover more of this. This video is about setting it up for completely free. So I'm gonna select Apple Notes because that's what I use for all my note taking. And we just need to press space and then enter. And if you want to use Google Places like Maps, stuff like that, then you can add an API key for Go Places. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna skip that. And if you wanted to, you obviously need the API key. So I'm gonna skip that as well. And if you wanted to add down a banana, you can add an API key for that as well. I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna skip all of these. And do you want to enable hooks. So hooks are kind of like webhooks. You could actually integrate this into something like N8N. So when a process or something has been triggered, you can use that webhook to then trigger Clawbot. I'm going to skip for now. So the next step is Telegram will generate a user ID and a parent code, which is what you can see here. And then once that was successfully integrated into the Clawbot agent, I asked it, what can you do? It came back with the request was rejected because my credits on Claude was too low, right? So I topped it up, and then how about now? So yes, it's working. I can see your Telegram messages now. So this means that my Telegram, my Ava Clawbot, is actually connected to the Clawbot agent on this AWS server. And remember, this is just one channel. You can add WhatsApp, Slack, I think there's Signal, there's a ton of those, right? So this is everything they can do. Now, obviously, in a future video, I'm gonna give you more integrations, more ideas of stuff that you can do with Clawbot, because honestly, I think this is the next evolution of AI agents. And between Clawbot and what you can do inside of Google's anti-gravity, I'm super excited for all the projects, all the apps and services that I'm gonna build in 2026. Okay, so stay tuned for that. But in this video, I just wanted to give you a basic, quick introduction into Clawbot and how you can install it as quickly as possible. So it can chat with me, it can add context, it can search web pages. So if you've got the Brave app, you integrate the API through Brave, you now have an agent that can search the web. And the possibilities are endless because you can integrate GitHub, you can integrate browsers, you can integrate services. This thing can literally do everything for you. There's things like Notion, Slack. So eventually I will integrate Slack with it because I use Slack for my client projects and I talk to clients on Slack. So now I've got basically another employee that can do everything for me, all the heavy lifting. And this is how I built a solo business, a 4-figure a month business. So I don't need more staff, right? I don't need more screens or I don't need more systems. I need more AI agents, and you need more AI agents. This is why I'm recording this video for you. So Vaste, tell me what the weather in Singapore is. Let's see if we can do this. There's a very basic use case, but I just want to show you what you can do with something like Clawbot. After a couple of seconds, it came back with this. So it's got the weather. When I'm looking outside, I can see it. So yeah, it is 29 degrees. It's super hot. And yeah, I would say it's pretty cloudy. So I haven't been outside today. I don't know if it's windy, but yeah, this looks kind of like what I'm seeing right now, right? So this is a very basic use case. Eventually, I'm going to integrate this with Notion, think Airtable, anything that has an API, a webhook. So I can integrate this into my N8N automations, both for myself, my business, and for my clients, and for my private community inside of school. So I'm super excited what we can do with this. This has taken the internet by storm. There's a ton of content out there. It hasn't even been out for that long, right? Like it's been, I don't know, like a month. So this is how you install it using AWS for pretty much free. I mean, there is obviously the language model cost, but that's with any app or services when you're in this industry. But for the most part, it's free and you can get started with about $5. So you just build a secure private AI agent that runs 24/7 on AWS. And for the most part, it didn't cost you a thing. It talks you through Telegram. You can write Notions. It searches the web on command. And obviously, I will record more videos on this. I've been up for days playing around with Clawbot, seeing what it can do, pushing it as far as I can. And honestly, guys, this is the real deal. And if you love this tutorial, click on the next video you can see on screen. Smash the like button. If you got some value from this, go ahead, install Clawbot on your own AWS free tier. Go have some fun with this. It's free to get started and see what you can build. If you want some ideas and inspiration, go on the Clawbot website. They've got a ton of use cases by the community. So you can see what other people are building with Clawbot right now. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.